Pakistan is still on the precipice. Despite the current Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif promising to change the tide, the country continues to be embroiled in challenges from security, climate and economy. The wars in Pakistan is our focus in this discussion with Dr. Jamil Ahmed, who is a former ambassador to Pakistan, to the United Arab Emirates and also a senior analyst. Dr. Jamil, welcome to the program.
Pleasure, as always.
Let's start with the current and most concerning issue, terrorism. The death toll in the Peshawar mosque bomb attack is rising, and even though there is no claim of responsibility, a recent report says Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, or the TTP, has carried out, quote, over 100 attacks over the past few months. In your own view, what's making it difficult for the Pakistani government to tame or neutralize these terror groups?
Well, Pakistani government tried to involve the Afghan Taliban to at least separate those people who have blood on their hands. Pakistan wanted that those Taliban who have blood on their hands could be tried separately, but those who are their families and associates, if they could be given some kind of permission or amnesty to come back because they don't have cases against them. So that didn't work, as a matter of fact, and since that didn't work, and why it didn't work was basically the Taliban. During that process of dialogue, through the Taliban, Afghan Taliban, they conducted some of the terrorist acts in Pakistan, and therefore it had to be totally abandoned. And from there onward, the wave has started. But in fact, we'll not do justice with this topic unless we go a little bit in the history of it. Taliban, we all know that how did they become a Taliban, and what was the basic and fundamental problem and when did it started? Right. As we all know, it started after 9/11, and Pakistan made a wrong decision at that point in time during the General Musharraf's time of participating in war on terror at that time. And once they participated in war on terror, that was US-led global war on terror, and the pressure was built on Pakistan. So Pakistan had to really provide them certain facilities like the land and the air route. And Taliban and Al-Qaeda declared Pakistan enemy of Islam, attacked the state and the society. They started doing it concurrently. And the reminiscence of that, you can see it in the Tehreek-e-Taliban, even what they are doing today in Pakistan, and the mosque which was attacked. It's not the first time. They have attacked so many places, including mosques in Pakistan. But we also understand once Pakistan conducted this Zarbul Azb and Radul Fasad, it became almost zero. So I think the time has come. Time has come that Pakistan is going to really go back to the same kind of operational mode. And they tried the dialogue through the Afghan Taliban. It didn't work. And my understanding is that coming few days or weeks, they have to revert back to the same successful operation like Radul Fasad, means the operation against TTP and Zarbul Azb, and in which they were totally almost eliminated. Yeah.
Dr. Jamil, let's talk more about that because it's still an issue. The new army chief, along with his top generals, vowed to crack down on terrorism without any distinction. That's what they say. There's also another concern. Critics say pressure must also be applied on the Afghan Taliban, who are accused of sheltering the TTP to either restrain the militants from attacking Pakistan or evict them from Afghan soil. What are the possibilities of that happening?
In fact, if TTP, if they use the Afghanistan soil, I think Pakistan would be in its rightful right to pursue them, and to pursue them even if they get back to their own territory. Although we respect the sovereignty of each country, although we definitely would like to involve the state of Afghanistan before doing that. And this is what the indication was given by the government, that they are in communication with the state of Afghanistan, the government of Taliban, and perhaps soon Pakistan have to decide. Pakistan has to decide about conducting operation within the territory of Pakistan, and if they cross the border and try to fled after doing the incidents of terrorism, we did it in the past in the coast last year and last year, and perhaps it might as well have to be repeated, and of course in concurrence with the sovereign country, which is Afghanistan. So this is what I'm expecting in the coming few days, if not weeks, because otherwise the TTP might as well fan out as they did it last time. They did not only restrict to the KP, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa,
Right.
they started operating beyond that, the Punjab, Sindh province. So before they pick up that courage again or strength, the government, it appears, I can refer the last meeting of National Security Committee. It appears that now this was a red line, what happened yesterday, and government seems to be fully prepared now to really check that, because we cannot afford any long. Pakistan cannot afford any longer. They've already suffered 80,000 people died in the war on terror, and this is again in continuation. It's a continuity of the same
Right.
issue with the Security Council resolution. For whatever reasons, had passed a resolution to attack a sovereign country, that is Afghanistan, the allied forces and all, on the basis of course, the terrorism which was resonating from there. How far was it successful? The anatomy of strategic decision making of that time, uh, people are now, we are paying the price for it. We kept paying the price for it, the Pakistani government and Pakistani state, and even now they continue to pay the price of that strategic decision, which in my view was not appropriate decision, and the effect of that decision the entire Pakistani society is now facing. But
Dr.
again, the
Jamil,
Maria
Dr. Jamil, Dr. Jamil, let me cut you short there because we have to move on from that topic, and we hope that dialogue may be used to solve some of these issues. And apart from terror, Pakistan is facing another hurdle: price hike and shortage of wheat flour in the country. The government imposed measures in efforts to address the crisis. Are these measures working, or is it a way by the Prime Minister to try to ensure that he doesn't tarnish his image and look like a lame duck leader?
Well, I think today the IMF has started its meeting, and the conditions which IMF program for the program for implementation of the program of IMF, those most of those conditions have already been implemented. Just final finishing points and the fine tuning would start from today until the 4th of February, and we are hoping, in fact, although the price would go further high, people would feel the heat of it, and they've already started feeling the heat of it. But I think fundamentally we have to examine the dwindling economy in Pakistan. If we review what has been happening last about 20 years in the wake of war on terror, that also leads to one point. Once a country does not have a security because of the terrorism and the fight against terrorism and fighting the war for for whatever reasons, the economy would definitely be affected. Investors are not going to come for that. The industries are not going to flourish on that, and that's once we calculate $150 billion losses, and that is the continuity of that. The impact of the war on terror, the wrong decision of that time is now even costing us very heavily, and that thus what you are referring the economy. The economy is not in a promising shape. Everyone understands that, and the government has to really come up with a strategy out of the box by saving the lowest strata of the society. This time, what I'm hearing from the Federal Board of Revenue and the Finance Department and the government by itself, the leadership of Shehbaz Sharif, they are now this time on the recommendations and on the demand of the IMF. They
Right.
are going to have more direct taxes, and they are trying to give a little safety net. How far they succeed is another question, and we are waiting to see that in the coming few days. But I don't foresee that it can slide down any further after the IMF program, the other lending agencies, and the import and export, which has been held up, that would start happening. And once that starts happening, then I don't foresee any further slide in the economy. And probably if the government takes right measures, they probably would be able to stabilize,
Right.
and then perhaps they would be able to go from there.
Dr. Jamil, apart from the social and economic issues that Pakistan is facing, there is the political conundrum in Pakistan. On one end, you have Shehbaz Sharif, and on the other, you have former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan, excuse me for that, who continues to push for snap polls. First of all, what is your take on those calls? Should elections be held, or should Imran Khan give it a rest?
The election is a constitutional requirement, and they have to have the election. They don't have any choice so long as the democracy exists in Pakistan. And my understanding is postponing election would be very hard for them, except whatever provision is given in the Constitution of Pakistan. The article, I guess, is 224 or so. Unless there is some provision of that kind, like a financial emergency, they cannot postpone it more than 1 year. My own understanding is, if the IMF program succeeds, and which there are all the indicators that's going to succeed, in that case, election, they will have not much choice but to have it on time. Whether Imran Khan wins or someone else wins, it's a different story. But it appears that it would be next to impossible for the state, for the government, for the decision makers to postpone the election extra constitutionally. It has to be within the ambit of constitution. Yeah.
Dr. Jamil Ahmed Khan, thank you very much for talking to us. He's a former ambassador and senior analyst. Thank you for talking to WION today.
Pleasure mine.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.